Hello, everybody. It's Lisa Rose. Thanks for clicking and watching. So, I am in here to talk about relationships. Let's say your relationship's not so great. Maybe it's okay, but it's not hot. Maybe your relationship is over and you're wondering where the love went, even between you, right? Maybe you're, getting a divorce and suddenly you can't talk to this person anymore and it's getting ugly. There could be relationships with developing, lovers, really relationships in general. But I'm thinking about the loving relationships, how to go from meh to hot. And there's one quick fix that I have recommended to people over the years, and it works. And this is it. You take a look at your partner. It could be your spouse, it could be a lover, it could be a boyfriend, it can be an ex, it can be a pending ex. Maybe you're just warming up to the idea of getting a divorce or separating. It could be that you just got married and suddenly the relationship seems to be changing a bit. So it's where you want the relationship to be better, whether you're staying together or not. And the quick fix is this: you take a good hard look at the other person and recall all of the things that you love about that person. So this is actually an exercise in gratitude, but it goes beyond, because it's asking your spirit to take a look at the spirit in your partner's body, right? The spirit that's inhabiting your partner's body and your spirit, right? This spirit to spirit relationship. And you're taking a look at the essence of who they are and what it was that first drew you to them, that made your heart pound and your breath go quick and made you want to put lipstick on and look good. What was it about the other person? And then as you developed your relationship and you were in your relationship, what are some of the things that you just loved? Maybe you loved the way that their bodies smell when they came out of the shower. Maybe you loved that they helped with the kids by giving them, baths in the evening so you could have a break. Whatever it is, and sometimes when your relationship isn't that great, it's a little nauseating to have to come up with 10 things about somebody that you love that right now you don't love so much, right? That's really the hard part. But that's the work. So you sit down and you put yourself in that place of seeing them with new eyes or renewed eyes and recalling everything that you love about that person. You write it down. Just make the list until it's completely exhausted. And when it's completely exhausted and you've come up with everything you possibly can come up with, add a few more things about what you loved about your relationship with this person and some of the special things that they did that made you feel loved and cared for and respected and happy. Write it all down. And you can write it down on a piece of paper, you can type it, you can do it as an audio. I mean, I've done this where I went and I bought a blank book at the bookstore and I wrote it all, one thing on every single page in this book. And then I did it over a year and I added to it. And then I gave it as a gift one year on Valentine's Day. Well, let me tell you, did the energy change in the room probably within 24 hours. And it wasn't bad to begin with, but now it was really hot. So this works great, particularly if your relationship is in a lull. Relationships are like this. So when it's in a lull, this is really a great practice to engage with the other person on a spiritual level, change up the energy by using gratitude, but it's beyond, because it's specific. It's so specific to them and the meeting of the spirits and what you were drawn to. So try this. You can try this if you're married. You can try this if you're even in a new relationship. You can try this if you're getting a divorce. And I have coached some women who were not in great relationships, and it looked like the relationships were probably not gonna last, and things were beginning to get ugly. And I said, just do this one thing. and hand the list to him. And if you don't want to hand the list to him because you don't think he's going to open up a piece of paper from you, sit down to dinner, make him dinner, sit down to dinner, and after dinner say, I'd like to tell you something. And let it rip. And it works beautifully. It has made relationships become repaired. Sometimes it has brought people back together. Sometimes it's taken a relationship from meh to hot, right? Sometimes it's renewed and people started having greater respect and appreciation for each other. I wanted to share with you probably the most extreme example was I had a mortgage broker that I used to work with to refinance my houses when I lived in San Francisco Bay Area. His name was Jeff. And Jeff was at my kitchen table and we were signing some paperwork and he just put his pen down for a minute and he was looking at the paper. And I said, everything okay? And he said, yeah, everything's okay. He said, it's just, I was looking at the date, you signed the paperwork and you wrote the date and this date is all over these documents. And he said, today would have been my 10th wedding anniversary. And he said, it's just, I'm thinking about it. And I said, wow, you're married 10 years? He said, no, would have been married for 10 years. And he said, we got a divorce a few years ago. And I said, wow. And he said, I just can't stop thinking about, what could have been. And I said, Jeff, why don't you send your ex-wife the biggest bouquet that you can afford of flowers, big bouquet of flowers. And by the way, this is probably the bouquet that you should have sent to her 5 years ago, but never too late. Send her the big bouquet and send it with a note or a card and tell her everything that you loved about her, everything you loved being married to her, everything you loved about your family, and what it is that you are regretting, and how you wish that, you would have seen year 10. And he said, I think she would just fall over. I said, you might be surprised. She might call you. And so he did it. He said, I'm going to do it, Lisa. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send her the bouquet. I'm going to write a big, long letter of everything that I love about her and her being the mother of my children, etc. And I'm going to send it to her. And I didn't hear from him for like 2 years. And then one of my friends who was refinancing their house, she said, hey, thanks so much for, referring me to Jeff. We're refinancing our house. It's great. And she said, you're not going to believe it, Lisa, but he told me that he just got remarried to his ex-wife, and she's now pregnant with the celebration baby number 4. And he wanted me to say hello to you and that the bouquet and the note worked. So you see, that's the extreme example. But it is an example, right, of showing gratitude, because we can begin to take each other for granted in relationships very quickly. And it's so easy to unload on somebody who's with you every single day because you think tomorrow they're still going to be there where they're going to go, right? But taking it back to the basics of what is it that I feel about this person that turned me on, that I just love about this person, and sharing it with them instantly is going to change the energy in the room, and it's going to change the relationship. If you're married, if you're dating, if you're attracted to someone, if you're thinking about getting a divorce, and in this last example with Jeff, the finance guy, he was already divorced for years, and it had completely changed the relationship, and he ended up getting remarried once he showed the right level of respect, right, to his wife that he probably didn't show before. So I'm going to leave you with that today. And this is coming from my coaching program, Truly Living You Group Coaching. I've been talking about it for several days now. I will be talking about it all week, so I'm very excited to help creative women on a quest for change in midlife to make some new changes and choices and really get some happiness. Get rid of the quiet discontentment and start truly living you. So today's the last day for the pre-sale. If you're on the fence at all and you're thinking about it, call me and I can help you decide whether or not this is a good program for you now. All right? Just send me a message and we can jump on the phone today or tomorrow. All right. Pre-sale ends tonight at midnight. And love from California. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.